Hi, this is Kail from the Swedish black and death metal band Godhead Machinery, and you're listening to The Bloodshed with Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International. And I would like to congratulate Metal Messiah Radio on its 13th anniversary.
Kail, thank you very much for taking time out for this interview, and I want to welcome you back to the Metal Bloodshed with the Vampire on Metal Messiah Radio International.
Thank you very much, Jacobo. It's an honor to be here again.
To start this interview, Kail, after the year and a half that the world has been hit by this COVID-19, how is the city of Norrköping and the province of Östergötland and Sweden in general recovering from this pandemic?
I think that my hometown Norrköping has tackled this COVID shit as good as they could, but there has of course been, unfortunately, a lot of misery among especially the elders here in Sweden, and that could be handled bad to avoid that, but it always easy to be wise afterwards, so pandemic like this. But besides that, Sweden's way to handle this crisis in general been to trust the citizens to take their own personal responsibility to minimize the spread without any punishing laws that force people to stay at home or like some other countries has implemented. I think that Sweden has chosen a good strategy for this country at least.
So everything is now getting much better. Most of the population is already been vaccinated.
Yes, we have started with it. I don't know how many, but maybe half of the population soon. And they have started to open up everything here in Sweden, but it's a lot more to fix before it's as usual again.
Okay, Kail, after the band parted away with the guitarist Fredrik Blomqvist and with Tommy Ericson taking over the drum and the inception of vocalist Niklas Ekwall and the bassist Daniel Forsbeg, the lineup has remained the same for the following years. Yes, you on guitars, Niklas on vocals, Tommy on guitars, Daniel on bass, and Marcus doing the drums. Now, after 2 albums released as a band with the same lineup, I believe the band is much more united and work as a team much better. And how do you guys feel? Being together now after 2 albums.
I fully agree. During the first album, it was only me and Marcus because that was more a solo project. But after the first album, we have during the second album, and now we have learned to know each other much, much better on several levels. So I think that shines through our music. Gus didn't put his drums on this record that we did now, but he's back again. He just had a small break for some personal issues.
I remember meeting up with you for the very first time. That was back in 2015 when you were still with this Swedish black metal band Misericordia, and for GODHEAD Machinery, a black and death metal band you formed. We met back in 2017, Kail, for the debut album Ouroboros, and in 2019 I met new vocalist at that time, Niklas, for the band's second album. I'm talking about Aligned to the Grid. Yes, this album, Aligned to the Grid, is a much more dynamic album compared to Ouroboros, and the production sounded very professional, while the lyrics over the corruption, both politics and religions, along with some extensional touches. Kail, I must say, a massive support received from fans, I believe. What has this release meant in general for the band? Did it surpass all what the band has expected?
Thanks for the nice words. And I don't know if it surpassed our expectations, but we hoped for more opportunities to gig live and stuff like that after Align. But I think that album somehow disappeared under all other releases during that period. So it's hard to say. I don't think it surpassed our expectations, unfortunately, but I'm looking forward to these new releases, and I think we will do it right this time.
With the 2 albums to their name released by Inverse Record, Ouroboros, as I said, 2017, and Aligned to the Grid 2019, and now their 3rd release, the EP Masquerade Among the Gods, which was just released July 2nd, 2021. through Black Lion Record. And I'd like to give a shout out to Oliver Dahlbeck. Kail, how was the band experience with the two albums released via Inverse Record? And why the change for another label? And how are things going with Black Lion Records?
Our cooperation with Inverse has always been good, but especially during our first album. But I feel like the steam were gone during the promotion for Align to the Grid. So we threw out some hooks to other labels that we good to work with and try something else. And then we signed with Black Lion, and our cooperation is pretty fresh still. So I don't know yet, but I'm really impressed of their devotion to their work, and they are very easy to communicate with, so quick and easy. So far so good. So we will see when we release the full length.
Okay, I'm very glad to hear that. Yes, you joined the Black Lion team. I've been working with them for a couple of years, and so far I see that all the bands that are under this label, they all are happy.
Yes, also what I have heard. So I think we will also be happy, but I will wait with that.
Okay, to continue with this interview, Align to the Grid. Yeah, this album have served your purposes as a tool to analyze how religious beliefs infiltrates law, policy, behaviors, and moral codes of modern society. Believing that by identifying these influences factor, human beings can comfort and break free from them. For fans that already know the bands and for new fans, how would you describe this album to them? I'm still talking about the album Align to the Grid.
Oh, it's always hard to describe your own music to others, but I think that Align to the Grid is, as you told before, a very dynamic album. We have several genres within that album that goes through black and death metal, and we always stay in the darker tunes because we like that spectrum in the music. And the lyrics, we have an interest in how the world is working and who is controlling the world through different belief systems or politic systems and stuff like that. So that's what that album was about. So
okay, to go to this new EP, Masquerade Among the Gods, which was just released a couple days ago. Yes, Kail, what can the fans expect of this EP?
I think we have the red thread from all our albums, and it is still dynamic, but not dynamic within every song that we had before. This is more black metal that we have than all our other releases, and we have thought about the dynamic over the EP, and we will also think about the dynamic over the next album, not in every song. So some songs can be slow or fast all the way, more or less now. But I think people who like maybe Emperor or Behemoth or Dissection will like this stuff also.
Yes, talking about this EP, joined by Polish blast machine Krzysztof Klingbein, who also worked with Avatar of Hate, Resurrection, Ritual. As a session musician, raising the drum stool, the band have started this EP. It serves as a taste of what is to come, as it shares its same conceptual ideas as a forthcoming album and an opening to act to an exploration to human filtered through Swedish blacken death metal. How did you decide to invite Christopher to be part of this release as well? And since you are talking about this EP, it serves as a taste to what is to come. When will we be able to have the band's third full-length album?
Third album will be released in November this year, according to the plan. It's already recorded, and it's in Magnus Johansson at Milk Studio are mixing that right now. And according to Krzysztof, Blast Machine, it started when our drummer Marcus had to take a short break from Godhead to handle his work and other stuff. A lot of travels in his work and stuff like that. So, and then Niklas found Krzysztof's YouTube channel and just asked him if he were interested to stand in for Marcus for the EP and our upcoming third album as well. So we sent him our demo tracks for those albums, and here we are.
Okay. Godhead Machinery unleashed their new album, Masquerade Among Gods EP, on July 4th, as we just said, via Black Lion Record. The first preview of the new offering was the lyric video for the track Vulture Incarnation, which was released on June 4th, 2021. What can you tell us about this song, this video, and why have you chosen this as the band's first preview of the new EP?
It was very hard to choose a single track that should represent both the EP and Godhead Machinery as a band, but we agreed upon that Vulture Incarnation could be the single that could do that, but I'm not sure. We thought it had most of the element that we use. And the video is a lyric video that I made for it. The song is about the human greed, so I just put that video together for that. So, but and this EP the lyrics here are more personal than the lyrics before on the previous albums, since on previous albums we aimed to survey a much broader spectrum of the illness of the world. To sum it up for the lyrics now for the EP and certainly the album, we are describing the darkness more from an individual perspective instead. So that's the turn we are doing now.
Okay, the EP carries 4 tracks available on various formats on official platforms. Could you please tell us what are these platforms?
I haven't seen that text before, but I think the EP is only released in digital form on all digital platforms like Spotify and Apple Music and whatever they are named, and also as a Digipack MCD that you can spin in your car. But I don't know. It's not settled yet, I guess, from Black Lion.
Okay. So we hope that will be available in a very short time on different formats, perhaps vinyls. That would be very great to have it on vinyls as well.
I don't think they will print this in vinyl, the EP. But the full length are meant to be printed for vinyl.
Okay, after having worked with Devo in Darken Studio for the Aligned to the Grid, you returned back home, should I say so, where you recorded Ouroboros. Again, the recording, mixing, and master was handled by Magnus Jonsson of Milk Studio. How was the recording process and mix and master gone with Magnus Jonsson at Milk Studio, and why have you not recorded in Darken Studio this time?
Good question.
Thank you.
I think Norrköping, our hometown, have the great privilege to have at least 3 good studios that are high-end. And I think I chosen Milk for 2 reasons this time. The first one is that I wanted to go back to the more rougher sound that we had on Ouroboros. I'm sure that, of course, Devo also could manage to create that, but Milk had an opening in his schedule for us in the studio. And the second thing is that we are actually working with Devo now at Andarker Studios he's remixing an old Misericordia album. So I didn't want to interfere those 2 projects. So that's why we chose Milk this time again. Both are great. So
since you came up with this, are they going to be re-release of Misericordia albums at some point in time?
Yes, the Krishnas will be re-released, but I do not know in which formats yet.
Okay, and not even when?
That's also very unsure.
Okay.
But we are working on it.
Okay, you are now working on it. That's very great. I mean, at least to hear that you're going to be releasing material of your previous band, Misericordia.
Cool. Thank you.
Okay, Masquerade Among the Gods sees Godhead Machinery in a reflective, somber mood as they tear limb for limb a quartet of new gods that seek out the parasitic and lay waste to them with the heel of their boots. To all of you out there that has not heard or buy this album as yet, this is an outstanding masterpiece you must have in your collection. To reach at the end almost of this great interview, how about merchandises for this EP, Kail?
First of all, thanks for the poem. Nice. I think that all merch is sold out now, but we will of course restock if we are allowed to play again. But right now we are not allowed to enter any scenes, so we only have vinyls and CDs right now, I guess, for albums.
Okay, Godhead Machinery is a non-orthodox extreme constellation with the main purpose is to analyze the ongoing political and religious greed and corruption that swallows all that can be eaten in this world. Before I leave, Kail, seeking the end almost of this misery and darkness we've been living in the last 2 years almost, what are the band's plans in support of this new EP? What shows and tours is about?
We have some gigs booked here in Sweden during the end of this year and during the beginning of next year, but we have to wait and see. Nothing is official yet. It depends on COVID if we are going to play or not, so we cannot announce anything yet. But as soon as we can, we want to get out to the roads again.
Okay, I believe, let's hope, let's cross the finger that for the end of 2021, I believe Sweden, as any other part in the world, will open for shows and the band can start touring. And let's hope that we can be able to see Godhead Machinery on the road sometimes. Besides that, yes, I want to thank you very, very much. I want to hand you over the microphone of Madam Messiah Radio for you to thanks whomever you want to thanks, Kail.
Thank you. And thanks for your interest in our work, Jacob. And to all out there, don't forget to spin our record a couple of times until next time. And I hope to see you on the scene later on.
Okay, Kail. Once again, Kail, I want to thank you very much for this interview. And it's been a pleasure, a very great pleasure talking to you again. And like I always say, metal on. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.